I am proud, a little emotional about this story. So, I've lost 140 pounds. I've maintained it for over 4 years. But 4 years ago today, I published a video. We know it now by the name A Postcard from Yellowstone, and it has been viewed over 5 million times. But more than that, it has driven so much actual weight loss success. The message of A Postcard from Yellowstone is so simple. And I just remember being so emotional in posting it, and of course in actually making it. And we've had so many cases from it, and so many cases of cases where people met someone in a church, in the office, at school, and on and on. The whole backstory of the video is on the website, and here's that video one more time.
Life can change completely in 1 year. Life can change without drugs, without special branded products, and without a surgeon's scalpel. You don't even really need hope. I had none 1 year ago when I got started, but if I'm selling anything today, it is hope. A year ago, I took this before picture at Yellowstone National Park, just weeks after I was approved for bariatric surgery. This was August of 2017, and I planned to have surgery January of 2018. On August 31st of 2017, I started a diet again to jumpstart the weight loss that I would have from the bariatric surgery. I really had very little hope for any of it because I was beaten down by a trail of defeats through my whole life, through all these decades, trying all of the diets, low fat, low carb, Atkins, high fat, low calorie, vegan, all of them. Surgery really was the last resort as the weight kept creeping up and I was faced with a critical question. How could I go through the remaining decades of my life on my current weight gain trajectory? I couldn't walk at 48 years old. How would I walk at 70? Would I even be alive? When I was referred for bariatric surgery, I weighed 280 pounds and I was 60% body fat. I lost 20 pounds to qualify for surgery. As I stood there in Yellowstone 1 year ago, I weighed 260 pounds. And so from August 31st, at 260 pounds to that key date in January where I had planned to have bariatric surgery, I lost an additional 70 pounds and I weighed 190 pounds at that point. I was losing weight faster than I might have lost it with the surgery. I was down at 190 pounds and I don't know if it's obvious, but actually at this point I no longer qualify. In any case, I skipped the surgery. I weigh 140 pounds. I've lost half of my body weight. I weigh less than I've ever weighed as an adult. 1 year ago, my sons took a picture of me laying on the couch there in the first week of my diet, trolling me to be sure, but I'm glad they did. This photo reminds me of how hard it was in those early weeks to muster up the willpower and determination to diet again after all those years of dieting and think that it would actually matter. There is this notion that we fat people are just out of control and have no self-discipline at all, and that's why we're so fat. But the fact is, those of us who struggled over the decades might have more willpower and determination than just about anybody. But we often also have a lot less hope because what we've learned is that the things that we do don't matter. Think of the preschool-age child who's learning cause and effect and hammering a peg into a hole. Hammer, hammer, hammer. The peg goes in the hole. That child is learning that he or she can affect the world, that one thing affects another. This is how a child builds confidence. And then we grow up and we try to manage our weight. We try to hammer it. We try to use all the tools that we're taught to manage our weight. Hammer, hammer, hammer. Low carb, cut your calories, exercise more, hammer, hammer, hammer. Eat more fat, eat less fat, hammer, hammer, hammer. Have you thought about what that does up here? And thinking about the child and the hammer, what does that do for us? How can we ever expect to have hope with that kind of life experience? Setting the obesity issue aside for a minute, what happens when we have no hope? We talk about mortality rates in obesity and heart disease and diabetes. How about mortality rates and hopelessness? Hopelessness is the #1 predictor of suicide. If you look like this, or if you are further up the creep of the scale than this and you are watching this video, it's because you are stronger than everyone thinks you are, not because you are weaker. You have probably been living without hope for a very long time and you have survived despite not having hope. And I offer you hope right here in this picture, August 2018. Yellowstone National Park. So what did I do? The short story is that out of desperation and because I had to do something, I combined, for the first time, a low-carb diet and intermittent fasting. I ate no more than 1 meal a day with a lot of vegetables, with a healthy protein, and I ate it in 1 hour. I allowed myself the other hours of the day to rest and for my hormones to regulate themselves. All of these years I've focused on what to eat, and I never considered when to eat. This thing called intermittent fasting has been around for years, I mean millennia even. I'd never tried it before because just like all the other diet hype, I just envisioned a trail of defeat. And of course my only regret is that I didn't know this 40 years ago. To lifelong dieters, I know you have the skill and I know you have the willpower. You have done it many times before. I hope now you have a little bit of hope that you can hammer that peg into the hole. This is my picture from August of 2017. This is my picture from August of 2018. May this 45th parallel sign in Yellowstone National Park have a long trail of people taking pictures, including you and your friends and your family, because your life can change. I want you to try it. I know you can do it. I know you have the skills and the willpower, and I think you know it too.